Brian Sobel. Brian, we heard the criticism there from Democrats. What is your reaction to this one-time strike? Will this really send a message to Assad and keep him from using chemical weapons in the future?
Well, the hope, Frank, is that it does. And presidents have used this one-off strike strategy many times. I don't know that it's unconstitutional. Presidents of both parties have used it, and we'll see where it leads us.
But they have used it, as you mentioned, in the past, and it hasn't kept him from doing the same thing again. What is to lead you to think that this would be successful when the other attempts haven't been?
Well, the last time we struck Syria, it was a one-target strike. Tonight was probably at least 3, along with probably their missile systems, probably some command and control. We'll know more in the morning at the briefing and when they do the BDA, the bomb damage assessment overnight. So we'll know more. I think he's sending the message, Frank, that we are going to continue to torque this up or to take this up until you get the message.
Well, it's been noted that the president tweeted 5 years ago, before he was president, that there should not be strikes in Syria without congressional approval, but he did that tonight.
Well, I think every president arrives in office with a certain set of beliefs, and then you're presented with the reality on the ground. The whole world finds it abhorrent that a dictator or anybody in the world would gas or chemically attack his own people. It's something that the world cannot countenance.
Russia is a huge ally of Syria. Russia has military equipment, military troops in Syria. Is there a danger here that this conflict could escalate, given that Russia is so close to Syria?
It'll be up to Russia. Tonight's action was preceded by what we've talked about a lot in the last few days, deconfliction, which is this communication that goes back and forth between the military to say, hey, be aware of this area, and they won't talk about precise targets, but the Russians knew where not to be. And we saw them moving assets over the last couple of days because they knew something was going to happen.
You know, Secretary Mattis says this is a one-time attack. The president, though, said sustained time in Syria there. But how is this strike different than the strike 1 year ago? Well,
I think because of the word sustained. I think if the reaction of the Syrian regime is to do something more, I think the sustaining part of it will be we will go back in again with, by the way, the French and the Brits and possibly further members of a coalition to continue taking care of the problem.
How do you see this playing out? What would be the next step here, and how big a deal is it to you that Democrats are critical of this move, in particular saying that it was not constitutional?
Well, setting aside the politics of it, which we never can, I think in the Middle East it sends a message that we're willing to act and that the use of chemical weapons has to be brought to a halt. And for people who want to possibly make political hay over that, I think the majority of the world sees this as a positive step.
Well, we will be learning more tomorrow.
Absolutely.
That is for sure.
Yes.
Brian Sobel, we appreciate your expertise.
My pleasure.
And